Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at some of the best off-meta decks to climb with in Wild. We're going to start off with Linecracker Druid by Ballister. So this is the Linecracker Druid we're used to seeing. If you're not familiar with the combo, you need to go Linecracker, followed by Bees, aiming at the Linecracker, and then Earthen Scales. And if you play all 5 of those cards together, you can gain over 2,500 armor. Now, previously, you would have to play Floop's Glorious Gloop to get discounts off the bees when they attack, or have ways to cheat around, being able to play more than 10 mana. But Wild Heart Guff completely gets around that problem, letting you bump your mana up to 20. In the event that your Linecrackers get pulled off a Dirty Rat, or for some reason your opponent's playing a Plate Breaker, which is pretty rare, you've got Mecha'thun as a backup plan. So if the Linecracker route doesn't work, that's okay. Just draw through your deck, play most of your hand, and then finish up with a Mecha'thun followed by a Poison Seeds. Next up we have Reno Druid by Paradox. So this is a Reno Druid that is using the Cthulhu the Shattered Shell. And on initial look at this deck, I thought it wasn't that great. But then I played a bunch of games and it's actually really fun and pretty strong. One combo I really like, and you could run this in the regular Cthulhu as well. You've got the Twig of the World tree, and then you can then play the Sphere of Sapience to pop the twig. Keep in mind, twig says gain 10 mana crystals, so if you've already played your Wild Heart Guff, you can then go twig and then sphere, and you get bumped up to 20 mana, which is pretty incredible. There's an incredible amount of value in this list. You'll notice that there is the aPBNuRBKmfBOOfBLugBJmtBAAA in here. So what you can do when you're above 10 mana, you can go aPBNuRBKmfBOOfBLugBJmtBAAA, play all sorts of stuff, play Elise to duplicate your hand, play Barista to get all the battle cries back. You can do pretty ridiculous things. The Cthulhu is there as a finisher, but out of all the games I played, I actually only won with Cthulhu once. Normally I just won off pure value and ridiculous boards. Next up we look at Hunter. We've got Even Hunter by Milk First. So this version of Even Hunter, it's based on secrets. They typically are, doing a lot of damage. As for new cards, we've got Bloodseeker, which is a new one. 2 mana 2/2 honorable kill, gain +1/+1. You've got the Ice Trap, which is amazing. You've got the Beaststalker Tavish, which is just a good value card. So overall, pretty fun list to spam away. The other Hunter list we have here is Reno Hunter by Timmy Streamer. So this list, it's running secret passages. It's got all sorts of cute little combos scattered throughout the deck. For example, it's got the Dread Scale and the Serpent Bloom combo to get a board clear if there are no death rattles in the way. There's the Dun Baldar Bunker in here to help you draw some secrets, thin out your deck a bit. We see the Bloodseeker again, Pirate Tech. As you can see, it's not too heavy on the top end, so it is very value oriented. You try and win just off values off the secrets. You got Lower Theb to stall. You try and do a lot of damage with Dino Tamer Bran. But just overall, a fun list that I'd recommend trying out. Moving on to Mage, here's a first. It's a secret mage in an off-meta video. How times have changed. This is a list that Sluzzle featured in a previous video. It's a pretty fun list actually, I like it. It's a little quirky. It's got mana worms in it. It's running the multicaster instead of the Sage, which I actually think is kind of nice. Sage at 6 is a bit too slow in this meta. There's also a Lower Theb in here just to buy an extra turn. It's not the worst list, so definitely, Secret Mage is not a good deck, but if you want to play Secret Mage, I'd highly recommend giving this one a spin. Looking at Paladin, we have Even Paladin by Neuven. This is a list that I featured in a previous video as well. It's really aggressive. It's really fun going Dun Baldar Bridge into Colder Arms. You've got your recruits constantly spamming out for 1 mana. You've got Sunkeeper Tarim to buff things up or clear big minions. Battleground Master to sneak in lethal. So really fun deck, very strong. Some of my viewers have been hitting Legend with this list as well. Another Paladin list, and this is one I have not tested, but I couldn't not include this. This is Reno Paladin. It's a list from a Chinese player from the China server, and my goodness, look at that top end. Holy, it's just got everything. Now, why is it running everything in the top end? Well, there's Nosdormu the Timeless, set each player's mana crystals to 10. So it's a big Paladin list, but it's also a Reno list. I'm pretty sure it loses to hyper aggro, as I don't really see how it survives the early game too well. But if you want to have some fun, this is a good way to do it. There might be better Reno Paladin lists out there, but I just really want to feature this list because it just looked so absurd. Moving to Priest, we have Combo Priest. This is a list by Shaman that I featured in a previous video. It's really fun. I like not running the Drekthar personally. So in this case, you're just trying to get a massive Gnomeregan, it's a hard one to say, Gnomeregan infantry. Or you can play Potion of Madness and steal one of your opponent's minions. I have in fact played this deck, stolen a 0/1 minion. So it was a taunt totem that had already been damaged. And I managed to get the taunt totem up from a 0/1 up to a 48/48 just by playing all the cards in my hand. So you can do really crazy amounts of damage out of nowhere. Highly recommend giving this one a try. There's a lot of Rogue here. The reason for that is Rogue's pretty bad competitively. However, there's a lot of off-meta Rogue. First one is Reno Rogue by Engine. I haven't had a good look at this list myself. I also can't test it because I dusted my Shadow Jeweler Hanar when it got nerfed and I haven't recrafted it. But it is a secret Reno Rogue. It's running a lot of fun stuff in here, as you can see. Engine almost took this list to top 100 Legend. He's a good player. He knows what he's doing. So if you want to play some Reno Secret Rogue, give this one a spin. Next up, we have Kingsbane Rogue. So Kingsbane Rogue, it's kind of coming back. There have been quite a few players having success with it. This specific list hit top 25 Legend. There's nothing particularly special about it. It's just Kingsbane Rogue. The Click of Shadows help you buy an extra couple turns, but otherwise you just do a ton of damage, don't queue into a Druid, and you're good to go. If you can't afford Kingsbane, there's a cheaper version. Scimitar Rogue, and as you can see here, I don't like to call it Aggro Rogue because I like to give respect to the hooked Scimitar, so I'm going to call it Scimitar Rogue. It runs a similar game plan to Kingsbane. Again, you got the Cloak of Shadows to buy a turn, you get a big weapon, you got a bunch of bursts such as Sinister Strikes, Wicked Stabs. Again, just don't queue into a Druid, it's that simple. Moving on to Shaman, we got Questline Shaman. So this is an aggro list. It's basically going for a ton of burst. Command the elementals. It just kind of helps you get some value along the way. You're playing a lot of cards with overload anyway. You draw through your deck very quickly because of Spirit of the Frog. You can also pull Spirit of the Frog off Drekthar, which is really nice. And so basically you just overload a whole bunch, you get value off the quest line, and then you play Overdraft to unlock, do a ton of damage, kill your opponent nice and fast. I'm also interested in the Gangster being in here. 2 mana 4/2 stealth. After your opponent plays a minion, attack it. It's kind of an interesting card to have in there. And the Charged Call is also a nice one, just to get a ton of value because of all the overload cards you're playing. However, if you want to play an even faster, more aggressive version of this, I'd recommend trying out this version of Overload Shaman, which doesn't run the quest line. Again, you've got the frogs, the Drekthar, but it is just all in on aiming things at the face. I have tested this list extensively. This list also hit #1 legend. It's really, really fun, and you can do an absolutely horrendous amount of damage out of nowhere. I think my personal record with an overdraft is 18 damage because the overload crystals go above 10 in the programming. So yeah, you can. It's just crazy. Really, really fun. And that's it. There's no Warlock decks because if you make a Warlock deck, it's just going to be good. And the only Warrior deck people play is Questline Pirate Warrior, which is pretty boring. You'll also notice there were no Demon Hunter decks because Demon Hunter is just absolutely god-awful. So sorry for that. But otherwise, if there's a list that you want to share with me that you've had success with, or a list that you've seen you want to share with me, you can leave a comment below, leave me a deck code for me to have a look at it. If you want to try any of these decks for yourself, you'll find all the deck codes in the description below. And if you're a mobile user and it's difficult for you to copy those deck codes, there is an easy to enter link to my Discord. You can visit the deck lists only channel where you'll find it much easier to copy and paste the deck lists. If you want to help support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and until next time, hope to see you again.